The NFL draft is now less than 2 weeks away and loaded with some defensive talent. However, quarterback needing teams might be left out in the cold this draft season. With all that as a backdrop, what else should we be expecting during the NFL's annual talent selection process at the end of the month? Brian Jones is an NFL writer for CBS, and he joined me on Monday to provide some answers to some probing NFL draft questions. So, Brian, first of all, we want to take the time and welcome you to the Two-Man Advantage podcast, and we're excited to talk some NFL draft with you this afternoon.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much for having me. Very excited to be here.
So I'm just wondering if you could give me your general impressions on how you think the draft is going to shake out.
This is going to be an interesting draft because I think it's very heavy on the defensive side. So I think what you'll see in day one going into the second day is teams focusing on defensive players. Obviously, with the Cleveland Browns having the number one pick, they'll go with Myles Garrett at Texas A&M. There will be some quarterbacks taken here and there in the first round, but I think overall in that first round you'll see a lot of defensive players being selected, like T.J. Watt, Jamal Adams, even probably Derek Barnett and Charles Harris. You'll see those guys being taken off the board, and then it will go into day two, going into day three. I think day three will be interesting because you'll see a lot of running backs being taken, because of the talented running back class as well. So I think this draft is going to be interesting. I think the first day is going to be really exciting. We obviously know who's going to be the number one pick, but after that, it could go a number of different ways. So I think it's going to be a very good draft for the NFL and its fans.
Talk to me about quarterbacks and who you think is going to be the first quarterback taken, because certainly this isn't a very deep or talented quarterback class, but I'm wondering who you think will be the first quarterback taken, who may be a sleeper, and who you think a team should stay away from for as long as possible.
When it comes to the quarterback position, I think the first quarterback that will be taken is Mitchell Trubisky out of North Carolina. Even though he doesn't have a lot of experience, he has all the physical tools that you look for in a NFL quarterback. So I think there are a few teams out there in the first round that will look at him and say, okay, we'll get him some seasoning, and then we'll get him ready to be our franchise quarterback. I think the sleeper will be Deshaun Kaiser, even though he's considered maybe the second best quarterback in the draft. I think a guy like him, he's not your prototypical quarterback like Mitchell Trubisky. I think he can do a lot of big things for an NFL franchise, when it comes to being productive. And I think the one player you have to stay away from when it comes to really just in the earlier rounds is Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. Even though he's put up some impressive numbers, he plays in an offense where it's very pass heavy. It's a spread type offense. And when quarterbacks like that come into the NFL, it's just a little bit difficult for them to adjust. They got to play under center instead of playing the shotgun. Receivers are not going to be as open in the NFL as they were in college. So I think that's the one player that you have to really just keep your eye out on. But as you said, it's not a deep quarterback class, but there is some talent there. So it'll be interesting to see where these quarterbacks go in the NFL draft.
Can you tell me about Deshaun Watson and his championship pedigree, and how do you think that may translate to the next level?
I think teams are very interested in Deshaun Watson simply because he is a winner, and the fact that he is very talented. He can do a number of things for you. He fit well into that Clemson offense. He was able to run with the football, throw the football very well, and able to win a lot of games. And as you mentioned, he did win the College Football Playoff National Championship last year, and he led Clemson to that championship game the year prior. Even in high school, he was a born winner. He led Gainesville to a state title as a junior. So he knows what it takes to win. I think teams will look at that and say, okay, this is a guy that has won at the high school and college level. He knows what needs to be done in order to lead teams to victory, and that's what you need in the NFL quarterback. You need a quarterback that knows how to lead and finds ways to win. So teams are definitely going to be targeting Watson in the NFL draft, and he'll be likely go in the later rounds. So Deshaun Watson is going to be a very good NFL player.
And just one final follow-up on quarterbacks in terms of Deshaun Kaiser and what Brian Kelly had to say in his comments on how he should have stayed in school. I was just wondering your whole thoughts on that situation.
I think when it comes to cornerbacks coming entering the draft early, it is a calculated risk. It's understandable because if you're projected to go in the first round or even in the top 10, you're going to take that money and then, enter in the NFL draft. But at the same time, I think when you look at guys in the NFL now or even in the past, you look at guys like Matt Ryan, you look at guys like Tom Brady, you look at guys like Peyton Manning. They didn't go enter the NFL draft early. They took all their 4 years eligibility and they made the most of what they could do in college to prepare for the NFL, and it benefited them really well when it comes to their careers. So, I mean, I definitely understand where Brian Kelly and Deshaun Kaiser, where they're both coming from. It just really depends on the player. So, if Deshaun Kaiser feels like he's ready for the NFL, then he's got to take that opportunity when it's thrown his way. So, but again, I definitely understand where Brian Kelly's coming from, and I think Deshaun Kaiser will have a fine NFL career, but I think he would have been off to a better start if he stayed in school for one more season.
And are there any prospects that are in this draft that you thought maybe should have stayed in school for another year?
I think when it comes to if there's one prospect, none really actually come to mind in terms of he should have definitely stayed in school. There's a number of guys that are going to go into the NFL draft early, like Zach Cunningham out of Vanderbilt. He's going in early, but I think he's definitely ready. What he was able to do at Vanderbilt, being a unanimous All-American. But when it comes to, I think Deshaun Kaiser might be the one guy when it comes to entering the draft early and probably should have stayed in school. It doesn't hurt to stay in school for one more season. I think Nick Chubb out of Georgia was projected to be a second or third round pick, but he decided to stay in school one more season because he knows that he could probably benefit his draft status if he's productive his senior season. So I think if there is that one player, it had to be Deshaun Kaiser. But I definitely, as I mentioned, I definitely understand where Kaiser is coming from.
And can you tell me about how this draft is loaded with defensive and running back depth, and just how you think those two strengths of the draft will play out?
Yeah, when it comes to the running back position, I think it's very deep. I don't think we've seen a running back class this deep in a few years. When you talk about Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Deontay Foreman, Corey Clement, Kareem Hunt, Wayne Gallum, just a number of guys that can really contribute to a bunch of NFL teams. Now, I think there will only be a couple that will be taken in the first round. I think there will be three, specifically Fournette, McCaffrey, and Cook. But at the same time, there's still a number of running backs out there that are going to be taken in the second round, third round, the fourth round, probably the fifth round, that can be major contributors. I think when it comes to NFL running backs, specifically NFL draft prospect running backs, you can find a quality running back in the fourth round, and then they can have productive careers. You look at a guy like Devontae Freeman out of the Atlanta Falcons, even Tevin Coleman, his teammate. They were taken in the third or fourth rounds of their drafts, and they're considered one of the best running back duos in the NFL. So, a very deep class when it comes to the running backs, and I think those running backs are going to do some big things in the NFL. As for the defensive side of the football, again, it's going to be very defensive heavy in this draft, especially the outside linebacker and cornerback position. You talk about the outside linebacker, T.J. Watt of Wisconsin, and Cunningham, as I mentioned, out of Vanderbilt. Those two guys are very extremely talented. Even Harrison Reddick out of Temple, guys that can really contribute right away. In the cornerback position, Kevin King out of Washington, his teammate Sidney Jones, Tez Tarver, Marlon Humphrey, Quincy Wilson, Garion Conley, all those guys, and Tre'Davious White out of LSU, all those guys have great potential and have the ability to do some big things in the NFL. So when it comes to like the outside linebacker, cornerback position, running back position, those are three positions that are going to be targeted very heavily in this year's draft.
And can you just give me your thoughts on what teams you'll be most interested to want, along with what players?
I think when it comes to the team that's most interesting, it has to be the Cleveland Browns simply because they have the number one overall pick and the number 12 overall pick. We obviously know that they're going to take Myles Garrett out of Texas A&M, but after that they can go a number of different ways. They have so many questions they have to answer on both sides of the football. Wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, secondary. There are a number of positions, a number of directions they can go in this draft, and they won't be necessarily wrong. The number one priority is quarterback, but it's just going to be difficult for them to find their franchise quarterback in this year's draft because it's not the strongest position. There are some guys that have potential, but they're looking for a guy that can be a franchise quarterback, someone that can make an impact right away. So, but the Browns are a team that's going to be interesting to watch because they have a number of draft picks and they can go in a number of different directions. So hopefully they make the right choices, and if they do, they can get out of the AFC hole and be contenders in the next couple of years.
And what players are you most interested to see where they go in the draft?
I think the one player that I really haven't talked about yet is Jabril Peppers out of Michigan. He's projected to go all over the first round, going into the second round, simply because they don't have a position for him. He's listed as a safety/linebacker. He can do a number of different things, and he's very, very talented defensive player, and he can return punts and kicks. So I'm really curious to see where he lands. I think Deshaun Watson is another guy that I'm curious to see where he lands. Even though I don't think he'll be the first quarterback taken, I think he'll be the most productive quarterback in this year's draft class simply because of what he's able to do on the field, being a leader, being able to run and throw the football. I think he can be kind of what like Dak Prescott was for the Cowboys last year. And I think the last player you have to look at is Joe Mixon. Very polarizing figure, and for people who don't know, Mixon, who's a fast first-round talent, has a number of off-the-field issues and when he was at Oklahoma. So he's been taken off some draft boards by some teams, but it's really going to be interesting where he goes to see if a team takes a risk on him. So those three guys are going to be very interesting to look at, and it's going to make the draft even that more interesting.
Which teams do you think can use the draft to sort of push them up over the hump and to the next level?
I think I mentioned the Browns, and they have that ability, obviously, because they have that many draft picks. But when you look at teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, they just need help at the wide receiver position, and they have an ability to get a guy like John Ross out of Washington, who had a very impressive combine. I think that's a team that can really get over the hump. They were able to draft Carson Wentz last year, and he was pretty solid. And I think if they're able to get some wide receiver help and get some help defensive line in the front seven, they're a team that can really compete in the NFC East. You have teams like the Giants and the Cowboys that made the playoffs last year. The Redskins made the playoffs a couple of years ago. And I think the Eagles are really just trying to keep up with those teams. And I think if they have a very productive draft, they have the quarterback in place. So if they're able to get some pieces around them, they can really go over the top. Not this year, maybe not this year, but probably the year after.
And I know we were talking earlier about the Cleveland Browns. Just one final on them. You don't honestly think that Brock Osweiler will be their opening day starter, do you?
I don't think so. I think they brought him, and they acquired him just for insurance and depth. I think he'll be
And for a
the
second
prime.
round pick.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, exactly, absolutely. So I think they're still looking for a quarterback. They're still evaluating. They still want to see who's out there. I don't think he'll be the starter on opening day. I think they'll try to look and see what else is out there in the draft and in free agency also, and just trying to evaluate. Again, Brock Osweiler, he's a solid veteran, but not a guy that you want leading your team. So I think the Browns will try to see who's available in the draft and see who's available and try to get that player. If they do draft a quarterback, get that player ready for opening day and just really just run with that quarterback moving forward because they got in order to be able to be a contender, they got to have a quarterback that can lead the way. So the Browns are really going to be addressing that quarterback position throughout the rest of the offseason.
And for us locally, we cover the Lions a lot. So I'm wondering if you can give me a thumbnail on what you think Detroit's going to do in a couple of weeks.
They struggled towards the end of the season. They were able to,
Back into the
get
playoffs.
exactly. But I think the biggest thing they need to do is just address defensive end and outside linebacker. They let DeAndre Levy go, so they need to address that. You want someone to complement Ziggy and Za, so you want another defensive end that can rush the passer. They also could use another wide receiver, to help Matthew Stafford spread the football around. So I think if they are able to address deep outside linebacker or linebacker and defensive end with their first two picks, I think they'll be in pretty good shape to possibly be a much better team than what they were last year. Even though they were able, to make the playoffs, but as you mentioned, they were back in their way. They want to win the NFC North. They want to be there with the Green Bay Packers at the end of the season. So I think if they address the defensive end and outside linebacker position, they'll be in pretty good shape.
And my final question for you has to do with what do you think coming out of this draft that people will be talking about once it's over?
I think because of the number of talented players, I think they'll be talking about a number of things. I think, obviously Miles Garrett and not being there, but, more than likely being drafted number one. They're going to talk about, him, joining, more than likely joining the Cleveland Browns. I think where Deshaun Watson goes, I think that's going to be interesting because of, him being really the best player in college football last year. He would is going to be interesting to see which team drafts him. Joe Mixon, I think, is going to the team that drafts him. They're going to have to answer a lot of questions when it comes to him, and are they able going to? Is he going to be able to put what happened off the field in Oklahoma in the past? So I think those three things are really going to be what people are talking about. I think where T.J. Watt goes, he's the younger brother of three-time Defensive Player of the Year J.J. Watt. He's going to be asked the question, can you be what J.J. Watt is? And so it's going to be a really interesting draft. Looking forward to it. I know NFL fans are looking forward to it. First time in Philadelphia. And it should be a very fun weekend.
First time outside too, all outside. Too,
Yeah,
so.
right. Absolutely.
So. Hey Brian, we had a lot of fun talking NFL draft with you this afternoon, and we want to thank you for your time and for being a part of a milestone here at this show. Today is the recording of our 150th podcast, and we want to thank you for taking a part in that milestone here at the show today, and it was a lot of fun, buddy.
Yeah, great. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.